Today we're taking a look at the GTeng T908W sent to me courtesy of LiveTake.com. It is a very stable beginner flyer. Let's get it in the air and check it out. The T908W is a very beginner-friendly quad, flies very stable. It's mostly going to be an indoor flyer for you. I do give you an outdoor flight in the flight review, but I also give you an indoor flight, and I'm going to recommend this as an indoor flyer and only fly it outside on very calm days. And especially if you're just a beginner, I would not fly this outside at all. Even the slightest wind is going to be able to blow this one around, and it doesn't have a lot of power to fight any sort of breeze or wind. It is carrying a lot of weight with the camera and the prop guards, but the prop guards are very nice for beginners or even children just starting out, and it flies very stable. So I'm definitely going to recommend this as a beginner quad, or possibly if you just want something to fly around the house, although there are definitely better options out there for that. But it is a very gentle flyer, making it excellent to learn on, and I do recommend in your first few flights when you're just learning, you're gonna wanna fly inside. So this might not be a bad option for you. Comes in around 50 bucks. Might be a little steep because I think you're gonna grow out of it fairly quickly, but it does fly nice and it has a very, very strong FPV signal, Wi-Fi back to your smart device. So if you're looking for something that has very good Wi-Fi FPV and flies very stable, this might be a winner for you. So why don't we get into the reviews and check it out. Okay, so one thing worth noting with this, it comes in a very nice box that is very nice for transport, which is kind of counterproductive for the detachable components to this. The ducts come off here and fold up, you know, so it's easy for transport. And it's a little bit strange that it comes in such ready to go packaging. You got your transmitter down here and your screen holder folds down nice. So I really like the way this one transports, but it is, you know, kind of intended to be like a fold up or detachable type of deal. So one thing worth noting too, I think this manual is a photocopy of the actual manual. So that's kind of strange. Anyway, and let's turn our quadcopter on and our transmitter on, up down to bind it. LEDs should stop flashing, maybe, possibly. Let's try it one more time. Okay, so we should be good to go there. And once you connect to this once, it will auto connect. The name of the Actually, I'm connected to my own Wi-Fi, so I got to disconnect from that. So this is the GTeng FPV. It'll come up with something like that in your Wi-Fi settings. So now we are connected, and I am going to screen record now once we get into the app, and the app is GTeng FPV. So let's record our screen here. We get the 3, 2, 1. So now we are recording in the screen, and this one it's pretty calm out at the moment. This one is definitely more geared toward being an indoor flyer. And inside the app, pretty much your standard app, we got pictures, take a picture there. This one over here is your video button. I'll wait to push that. And if you go over here, that's gonna take you to your gallery with all your videos. This one will calibrate, so let's push that. I believe that's what that's for. Calibrating the gyros, or is that for the G sensor? Not sure. Bless you, Luce. Lucy's over there sneezing. What is this button? Interesting. Never seen that before. Don't know what it does. I believe this one is if you want to fly it with a G sensor. This one will shut the sticks off, which I will do. And then you have options of what you can do, your rates over here. There are 3 rates on this, I think. We'll test that in a minute. This will fly it, I believe, with the gyros, reviews. This one is like a VR thing, I believe, if you want to fly that with the goggles. So let's get this in the air. And a little bit finicky with your cell phone holder, but doable. So let's record on here. And a couple ways to take this off. Lucy, you're gonna freak out in a second. You can go down and out, and that'll idle up your motors. Then you can hit the upper left here is gonna be an auto takeoff type of deal, which is a little bit weird for me because I feel like if you hit the auto takeoff, it should just take off. So we're in the air here, and this stick here is gonna be your rates. So that's the second rate. So it launches in an intermediate rate, I think. So there are 3 rates: intermediate, beginner, and advanced. And as I have said, this is geared toward indoor flight, but look at how it's getting pushed around there by the wind. Any sort of wind is gonna blow this one around. See, wind's pushing it back this way, but the altitude hold is fairly reliable. So we'll come towards this here. I'm not gonna go too high today because I don't wanna lose this one in the wind. So let's turn it back this way and we'll let the wind take it just a little bit. Get some smooth video. Let's try to turn it towards the pool there. And we're getting blown around a little bit, pool in the tree. It is kind of fighting the wind and we're drifting backwards. Maybe we're catching a different breeze there. Let's bring it in here. I do not want to end up in my tree today. So that's kind of it with the functions of the transmitter. Actually, I'm not sure what this bumper button does here. I think that's like headless mode and return to home and stuff. I do not believe this one will flip. So going a little crazy there because it's getting hit with the wind. So one thing I want to demonstrate to you guys too though is this is, whoa, there you go. Hitting some wind there right at the wrong moment and we hit the bench. But that just kind of goes along the lines of what I wanted to demonstrate is the prop guards. So it will bounce off things that you hit, and you could fly this basically into yourself, and you're not gonna have too many problems. So this one's definitely geared toward the novice. If you wanna get this for your children, as an indoor flyer, pretty good indoor flyer. And I gotta say too, the FPV feed has been very reliable for me. So, hats off to GTeng on that. Sky Viper, maybe take note of the GTeng here. It's got a really nice FPV feed. We're shooting the trees here. I do not want to get too close to the tree. So any sort of abrupt movement like I just did there and the wind are gonna affect this one. Definitely not the best outdoor flyer, but I think it is more geared toward a very novice beginner for the indoors. It likes this bench. Let's go back here. I think it's hitting some wind there and the altitude hold is getting a little confused. It is, you guys maybe not, you probably can't tell obviously from home, but it is like super warm out and there's really dense air pressure today. So this one's actually flying extremely well for the conditions. But if you fly this outside, I mean, I'll roll some footage on it. Oh, I think it's landing. We got flashing, so that might be our LVC. Let's come back this way. I'm gonna stop the video record. We've only been flying for 3 minutes. I usually get a longer flight time out of this, but possibly because of the conditions, it's not flying super great. Bouncing around. We're still up though, look at that. So that's gonna be, I'm gonna land it here. I hit the land button, hopefully it works. Hit it again. There we go. So, might give this one another flight. I don't feel like, maybe that charge wasn't 100% on that. I usually get a better flight out of this guy. Look at this. You can see me sweating here. It is extremely warm out. It's like in the 80s and the air pressure, it is super hot. Super hot. Anyway, so this one's got the proprietary battery. I'm not sure exactly of the milliamp hour on it. It is a 1 cell. I'm normally getting around like a 5-minute flight out of this. That one's more like a just under 4, I think. So I don't know what's going on. I might give you guys an indoor flight with this one too, because I believe this is intended as an indoor flyer. So why don't we cut to some indoor footage. Okay, indoor flight review of the GTeng T908W, DIY winner has the detachable prop guards, reassembling. So I've already kind of gone over the transmitter and the app a little bit, so I'm not going to do that here. Just going to give you an indoor demonstration. I'm going to start my video. And, ooh, I hope we don't hit our light here. Well, let's see what happens. I like to live dangerously. All right. So, as you'll notice, extremely stable flyer. Might need a little bit of trim, or we might just be, I can feel the props off my legs here, but let's give it a little bit of trim. Maybe. So we seem to be doing okay here. Give it a little bit of trim. I think because of the small environment, it's gonna be getting a lot of prop wash. So as you can see, very stable little guy, but it is blowing itself around here, I think. We are recording on the camera. Let's swing it around towards us, not hit the refrigerator. Probably gonna be a little echoey in here, I apologize. So here we are getting a nice shot of me. And we're bobbing around a little bit. But as I said, I can feel the airflow in the room here, so I think it's getting its own prop wash. But very stable flyer indoors, and if you do bump into something, it's got these nice prop guards that are gonna protect you. So let's just fly it around the kitchen just a little bit, real gentle. It's got the altitude hold, and as you can see, that's working very well. What happens if I put under? Boy, it is quite a draft that creates with the 4 props there. Maybe if I go under my camera here, we can get a little, I mean, I could hear it and feel it here. I'm not sure how it came out on the microphone, but look how stable it is. Bring it towards me, and then we'll just let it hang. Maybe, so it is drifting backwards, but I think it's just catching its own prop wash because it's kind of inconsistent in the way it's drifting. And we're flashing here. I'm not sure if I had a full charge on the battery or what. So I think that's what the problem might be with the flashing. You can see that here. We've only been in the air for 2.5 minutes. So it usually flies better than that, flies longer than that. I think I just didn't have a full charge on this battery. And I think it's gonna land itself there, maybe not. No, we still got some power. So it seems like a nice long LVC. Let's put it up in the ceiling, see if it gets stuck. Yep, it is gonna get stuck on the ceiling for you. And then it's gonna kind of kill its props. Either that or it ran out of battery. See if we can get back up in the air here. So we do have a little bit of power here. And about a 3-minute flight so far. Camera looks like it took a little detachment there, but it seems like it's still working. So that's the first time that's happened to me. So be aware of that. But let's just fly it into the wall over here to give you a little demonstration of the prop guards working. And there you go. Prop guards bouncing off all sort of ping-ponging off of things. So long LVC, or we have some sort of problem. Look how stable that is though. Very stable to flyer. This one's really nice for a beginner or somebody who just wants something real gentle to fly. I mean, look at the stability. Look at that stability. Let's turn it towards me. Go up a little bit, and there you go. Not a super wide angle lens on the camera for you, but that's one thing I guess I'd like to have seen on this. But as far as a beginner flyer with Wi-Fi, I think this is gonna be our flight time here. Try to land it. There we go. I was hitting the auto land button. Sometimes I found that, so that was about a 4.5 minute flight. And you know, normally I'm getting about 5 out of it, so I guess that's probably par for the course. Let me turn this way so I'm not shooting into the light there. And I'm gonna have to figure out how this camera gets back in here. It looks like it just clipped. There's a little clip in there. I don't know if you can see that. It just snaps back into place. That is nice about this modular design. The camera detaches, the battery detaches, this part in the back detaches as well. And all of the, let me just shut the quad off here. And I'm actually gonna kill my screen recording. So, and shut this guy off too while I'm at it. And I'll just show you a breakdown real quick. These come unlocked with the button here, slides forward, and then I think you slide it backward to get the back one, and they pop off like that. And I think they will only go in one way for the corresponding props. You got your Wi-Fi antenna here. And you know, not a bad starter quad for you. A little bit short on the flight time. I've had a little bit inconsistent flight times, I guess, too. So that one was about 4.5 minutes. And I'm not sure exactly what the outdoor review was. The outdoor review was pretty windy out there though, so keep that in mind. So there you go, guys. This is the GTeng T908W. And it was sent to me courtesy of LiveTake.com. I have a link in the description if you guys are interested. I think it's definitely good for your beginner flyer who wants something to learn on, has a decent camera, really good Wi-Fi FPV. You know, the lenses on it is pretty narrow, so I don't think you're gonna be able to fly around your house FPV. I guess it depends on how big your house is. Mine's pretty small here, so I wouldn't trust this lens to fly around my house just using the screen. But I think if you had a bigger space, the Wi-Fi is very good, the low latency. I mean, there is definitely a little bit of latency, but it's pretty consistent how it's being transmitted back to your smart device. So nice little flyer. Definitely beginner friendly. I think you intermediate and advanced guys aren't gonna be interested in this, but for just under 50 bucks, not a bad purchase if you're just getting into the quad game and you want something stable, Wi-Fi video. Check it out, LiveTake.com. See you guys in the next video.